Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. On Monday we had some pizza. I'm just doing the Red Baron frozen pepperoni pizza. And then to go with it, I made some wings. Best combination ever. I'm honestly more of a boneless wing type of girl, but every now and then I do want the bone-in kind. So I actually cooked these in the air fryer and they turned out so good. It was super simple, and I'm going to be showing you how I did it. So all I did was lay my chicken wings on some paper towel, and I patted them dry the best that I could just to get off all that excess moisture, and I just threw them in my air fryer. That's literally it. I didn't put any seasonings or anything on it because the sauce that I'm going to be tossing it in later is plenty flavorful and salty. So all I did was pop it in, and I cooked it around 390 for 30 minutes. Halfway through my cooking time, I did give these a good toss so that they could get crispy on both sides. Here they are after they are cooked, and I was just amazed at how fast they cooked and how good they were. But I just threw them in a big bowl and I drizzled them with some of that Buffalo Wild Wings buffalo sauce. I actually bought that at the restaurant, but I just gave that a good toss, and that is it. It is so easy to make your own wings at home. I'm going to be trying a new recipe today. It is a Trisha Yearwood recipe for Crock-Pot pork tenderloin. So I have about a little over 1.5 pounds of the meat. I'm going to be trimming off as much fat as I can, and then I'm going to season it with some salt and pepper, a little bit of ground ginger, and some garlic powder. The recipe actually calls for some ground thyme also, but I don't have any, so I'm just going to leave it out. But it is 9:09 in the morning. Josh is actually working day shift today, which like never happens, so I'm going to try to have this done by like 5, 6, something like that, because this will take 8 hours in the crock pot. So I also have a little bit of vegetable oil heating up in my skillet because I am going to be searing it on all sides before I put it in the crock pot. So now I'm going to be pouring over some liquid, and it's just a mix of chicken broth, soy sauce, and lemon. And I will definitely leave this recipe in the description box. But now I'm just going to pop my lid on, and I'm going to be cooking this on low for 8 hours. It was done. I just removed the meat and put it on a separate plate, and then I poured all the liquid that was in the bottom of the crock pot into this measuring cup. I poured half into a sauce pot, and then the other half I mixed with some cornstarch, and then I added that in as well. And I just let this come up to a boil, and then I let it simmer for a couple of minutes until it turned into this nice thick gravy. So I served this with some homemade mashed potatoes and some corn that I boiled and cut off of the cob, and then I just poured some of that delicious gravy over top of everything, and this was so good, guys. The meat was so tender and flavorful. I highly recommend making this. That was dinner for Tuesday. On Wednesday, I turned our leftovers into this pulled pork shepherd's pie. So all I did was I took that pork that I made yesterday and I just tossed it in some barbecue sauce, threw in that corn that I made, and then I also tossed in some frozen peas. I just put that in the bottom of a casserole dish, and then I layered it with all the leftover mashed potatoes, and then I sprinkled it with some cheese, and I cooked it at 350 for 45 minutes. So I don't always show when the kids eat something different from us, mainly because it would be really repetitive. And I know that some of you don't like that I cook separate meals for them sometimes, but my kids are young and they're super picky. I'm not going to let them starve, you know. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I really enjoy cooking, so it's not a big deal for me to whip them up something that I know that they'll eat. So I'm getting dinner started, and I'm going to be making a baked sweet and sour chicken. I have never made this. So I have about 1 pound of chicken that I have cut up into bite-sized pieces, and then I just seasoned it with salt and pepper. And then in this little Ziploc bag, I have some cornstarch, and I'm just going to dunk all the chicken in this bag and toss it to coat. So now that all of the chicken is coated, I'm just going to be dunking it in this beaten egg. And then over here to the side, I have a skillet, which is a shallow layer of oil, and it is hot because I'm just going to be cooking this for less than a minute on each side, and then it's going to be finishing off in the oven. So now that all of my chicken is cooked, I just put it in this 8x8 baking dish, and I have mixed together this sauce, and it is just some sugar, apple cider vinegar, ketchup, garlic salt, and some soy sauce. And I will leave the recipe in my description box, but I'm just going to pour this all over the chicken. And I do have my oven preheated at 325, and the recipe says to bake this for an hour, but I think I'm going to do like 45 minutes. But once it is done, I will come back and show you what I serve it with. Serving this sweet and sour chicken over top of some brown rice, and I just drizzled it with some of the extra sauce that was left in the pan. And I'm also serving it with some steamed broccoli. And that is dinner for Thursday. I'm trying a new recipe today for Mexican stuffed shells. I have been eyeing this recipe for quite a while now, so I'm excited to finally give these a try, but I already know that we're going to like them because, I mean, look at these ingredients. But I am cutting this recipe in half, and I don't think that I'm going to do any talking while I'm cooking it and putting it together. I am going to show you guys, but I'm just going to briefly talk about it right now, and then, as always, I will link the recipe in my description box. So I'm just going to brown up, I'm going to weigh out half a pound of ground beef, and then I'm going to brown it up, drain off the fat, and I'm going to be adding in half a packet of this taco seasoning along with some of this taco sauce. The recipe actually calls for salsa, but I don't want to use that because of the onions and peppers, and if you've been watching me for a while, you know I cannot do onions. So I'm just replacing that with taco sauce. And then I am going to throw in some cream cheese, let that melt, and then I'm just going to stuff them in these jumbo shells. I have my water boiling right now, and then I also have my oven preheated at 350. So I'm going to be layering some of this enchilada sauce in the bottom of my 8x8 baking dish, and then I'm going to put all my stuffed shells in, and then I'm just going to put the remaining enchilada sauce, and I'm going to sprinkle it with some Mexican cheese, and then I'm going to bake that for about 20 to 25 minutes. And yeah, I think that's it. Let's get cooking. Look so good, and I'm serving mine with just a little side salad with lettuce, carrots, ranch, and croutons, and that is our dinner for Friday, and I will be sure to let you all know if we like these or not. I am about to make these carrot cake pancakes. This is a recipe coming from the Taste of Home September/October 2018 edition, and here is the recipe if you want to pause the screen. So in a bowl, I'm just going to be mixing together some pancake mix, some shredded carrots, cinnamon, nutmeg. The recipe calls for ground cloves, but I don't have any, so I'm just leaving that out. And then some whole milk and eggs. So for the carrots, I am just peeling them, and then I'm running them over the tiniest little holes on my cheese grater, and you will need a cup of that. So I have my batter all mixed together, and I have my griddle preheating, and I have just sprayed it with some Pam. In this little saucepan, I have some maple syrup and cinnamon, and I just let that come up to a boil, and then I turn my heat down to low, and I just let it simmer for a couple of minutes. So I just drizzle that syrup all over my pancakes, and I also put a layer of this whipped cream cheese over the top, and then I sprinkled it with some pecans and some of that leftover shredded carrots that I had. And then for the side, I just have these Johnsonville turkey sausage links. These are the kind that are already cooked that you just pop in the microwave. And these were so delicious and such an easy way to sneak in some veggies. And that was our breakfast for dinner on Saturday. On Sunday, we went out to eat at O'Charlie's. I got the chicken tenders and a loaded baked potato. But that wraps up this week. I hope you enjoyed the video and got some different ideas. I upload these videos every Monday, so if you haven't already, be sure to tap that subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.